Question 1. The Granary burial ground was originally an extension of the Boston Common, and in 1660 was turned into a burial ground due to overcrowding at the nearby King's Chapel burial ground. It is home to many Bostonians, both famous and non. 3 signers of the Declaration of Independence found their final resting place at the Granary burial ground. One of them was John Hancock, another was Samuel Adams, and the third was Robert Tree. Another famous family who was buried here were the Franklins, mother and father of Benjamin Franklin. A third important tomb is the Infant's Tomb. It is located near the center of the burial ground and is home to 500 unnamed infants. Question 2.
The Granary Burying Ground was the third cemetery established in Boston and was founded in 1660. It was named the South Burying Ground until 1737, when it was renamed after the Granary building nearby. New tombs were prohibited starting in 1856 due to overcrowding. The Granary Burying Ground is very different from most cemeteries of today. The tombstones that we see here are more crude than what you would normally find currently. Also, the original layout of the burying ground was very random and in no specific order. Stones were moved to make way for modern inventions such as the lawnmower. Today's cemeteries are laid out very systematically to allow for upkeep of the land and easier accessibility.
Question 3. Because this is a graveyard, it wasn't actually sponsored by anyone, but there was overcrowding in King's Chapel, so they set out this space to fill it up and use for other people. Town officials set aside this land, and that means there are many government officials actually in the graveyard. Question 4. Now the site is here to commemorate people such as Paul Revere, John Hancock, Peter Faneuil, and even 5 people who were killed in the Boston Massacre.
Question 5.
Men,
Women,
children,
Catholics, Puritans,
Anglicans,
English,
African,
French,
patriots,
Tories,
printers,
goldsmiths,
and merchants were all buried at this historic site.
few slaves were also sometimes buried in their masters' tombs. If the Granary Burying Ground was built by a group with specific biases, far fewer people would have been accepted to lay to rest here. For example, if it was sponsored by the Puritan Church, then Anglicans would not be permitted.
Question 6. The Granary Burying Ground shows many symbols that would not be used by other groups and would also not be seen today. On many of the tombstones, you can see images of skulls with wings, skulls with crossbones, even sometimes the Grim Reaper or Father Death. These images were often depicted as a way for people to show freedom of expression outside of the Puritan Church, which tried to stifle images and icons that could be possibly seen as religious. Also, many of the tombs have different spelling and different letter shapes than are used today. For instance, the J in January looks like an I.
Question 7.
The Granary burial ground was not created to commemorate one specific event or person, so there is no place for historical inaccuracy. Instead, it was created as a final resting place for many Bostonians in the late 1600s to early 1800s.
Question 8.
The Granary burial ground, established in 1660, is home to many significant American figures from our colonial days. Even on a brisk December day, the place is packed with tourists and Bostonians alike who have come to learn about an important site in our